Yeah, Renegades versus G2 on paper. I think most people are picking G2 in that matchup, but Girl called it kind of as a meme. But hey, I got to give her credit where credit's due. Renegades was looking very, very strong. They were just looking solid as a team overall, as an entire squad, as an entire unit. Not necessarily as flashy. We might show you guys some stats in a little bit that show that, yeah, Ghost has the more flashy team, but Renegades is just a very solid unit, and they played really well as a squad.
Yeah, and Onset, obviously, you were really, caught up with Renegade's performance. You've been very impressed with them, obviously, and this was your favorite matchup in general. But what is it about Renegade's performance yesterday that impressed you?
It was the gun skill. As crazy as it sounds, it was the first time we've really got to see these three players just go straight 3v3 with another team. And by my own sort of internal rankings, if you want to say that, in the ALGS, I don't have Renegades like up there as team fighting teams. And that's with all due respect to them, because I'm wrong, quite simply. From what I saw yesterday, some of the wingman shots they were hitting and the flicks and the tricks and everything that was coming out was so good to watch. And it was the situations where all of a sudden they felt like they didn't have an advantage in a fight, and then all of two wingman shots hit, one of them a headshot, and all of a sudden they can capitalize on that. So I mean, the wingman shots for me was the thing that really stood out, and I just want to watch them play again. It was amazing yesterday.
A lot of discussion on the wingman. Naturally, it's one of the weapons that we see pretty much from the start to the finish, no matter what weapon you're running, and you can even use it as an eco weapon, but it's not like necessarily really a big eco weapon in the sense of like, you're skimping out. You're really not. It's got a lot of firepower. It hits hard, especially if you're connecting on those heads. So you guys mentioned, obviously, PowPow. Saucer was hitting and connecting yesterday with his Octane play with the wingman too. So that's a deadly roster. Ghost, though, impressed me with their teamwork, and I think their teamwork is quite literally going to make the dream work. Their DPS across the board was incredible. But boys, let's talk about the maps we'll be rolling with this time around. It's not going to be a set rotation like it was in pool play. It is in fact going to be a pick and ban process, and I believe Renegades gets first pick and they go with Party Crasher.
Party Crasher to kick things off. That's a good first pick for them. And of course, we will actually pull up some map stats as well to show you how these teams fared on those maps in just a little bit. But we'll have Party Crasher, Overflow, Gardens, Thermal Station, and Artillery. Phase Runner, the only map not played today. I'm excited. I like Artillery as a game 5. I think it's a really solid game 5 if it does come to it.
All right. Anything that you're thinking about? Actually, let me give you some more information. You see the maps here. Let's go ahead and go to our map stats and talk me through this, because this is what was played yesterday for both sides.
One thing that you'll notice on the Renegade side is there's only one number in that loss column, and that came on Phase Runner. So the fact that that's not in the series is obviously very good for them. You can say that Ghost Gaming obviously lost the game on Phase Runner as well, but if you're perfect across the board and you manage to eliminate the one map where you lost the game, that's great news for Renegades. And to be honest with you, I feel like Phase Runner is the one map out of all the arenas which kind of plays a little bit slow. It's a little bit big for what I want to see. I want to see teams getting up in each other's face, you know what I mean, and hitting some crazy shots and bubble fighting. So for me, I don't mind not seeing that in a series. I think we've got the best map selection we could.
Well, Party Crasher is definitely one of the strongest openings that Renegades could have picked. If you watched yesterday, Ghost versus 2MK, they lost Party Crasher 3-1. It was a pretty dominating loss, but more on that in just a little bit. There's two players we have to focus in on, though, and obviously we've been hitting hard and hitting home the fact that Saucer, he had big plays with his Octane, and most importantly, too, his overall wingman ability. You look at Metro, though, on the other side. Metro was booming yesterday with his shots, and you could tell in his total damage, 20,683, not bad at all. But albeit he did play 2 more games than that of Saucer, but granted, as Onset said, right, they did in fact only have 1 loss, so therefore it does make sense. Fallout, what's most telling on this player matchup to you?
Yeah, the damage per game stat for Metro compared to Saucer. That's obviously a fair and even stat as Metro. He played more games, but per game, Metro putting out 1,700 damage in a single game. That's absolutely insane. And Saucer was putting in work as well. So it just goes to show the above and beyond individual skill and DPS, high fragging potential that Ghost Gaming has, which makes these upcoming predictions really interesting because Ghost, high octane team, Renegades also looked great. This is going to be a close one. I'm excited.
It definitely is an onset. I mean, we just seen both Octanes, similar playstyle. It's going to be Gibby Pathfinder Octane. I would be very surprised if anybody changes that up after it was so successful yesterday, specifically for Renegades. But the teamwork, like I said, can make the dream work, or maybe not. I think Ghost teamwork damage across the board is what is going to be truly devastating for Renegades. What do you think?
I agree. I think both teams, you can see by those statistics from both the Octane players, they deal huge amounts of damage. It's the same story as yesterday, though. When we got the two pro teams going up against each other, when we've got two successful teams who are winning games, it's all about that first knock. The first knock is everything in arenas. Give yourself that advantage. Give the other team a decision to make, whether you're going to hold your ground, you're going to think about a res, whatever it might be. The first knock is everything. And that all comes down to communication and shots being hit. It's as simple as that. You need to focus a player. If you get that knock, you should win the round. If you don't, you've kind of let that round slip.
Yeah, capitalizing on that first knock is important. I think across all esports, not even just Apex, right? When you get that first knock, that first elimination, you got to capitalize and you have to, pounce on that opportunity. And I think a couple of teams did really good with that yesterday, and some teams didn't do as good and they were too passive. But let's get into one of the favorite parts Fallout loves, of course. He's a highly competitive guy. He's normally really good at this, but I think Girl's leading the charge. We'll see the score line in a little bit, but let's start off with you, Fallout. Prediction-wise, who's taking it?
Yeah, Girl had me beat yesterday. Today's my day, though, in predictions. I'm going to go with Renegades. Despite my initial gut saying, you know what, Ghost looks really, really solid yesterday. Renegades is 3-0, first place in their pool. They look so good. And exactly the category Onset mentioned, their first blood potential. I think they're the best team that we saw on all of yesterday. I think Renegades is going to take this, but it'll be close. I'm going Renegades 3-2.
Fair enough. Onset, what are you thinking about?
I just double checked the Discord there that we're in just to make sure that John hadn't changed his mind, because I'm hyper competitive as well.
Does he not do that a lot?
Why do you think I'm doing it? That's what I'm saying.
He does it all the time.
You just got to roll with it, all right?
I'm going with Renegades as well, though. I think it's going to be a crazy close game. You can check the Discord. I put Renegades straight away. But I think it will be, game 5. It could be one of those types of series. So
I'm pretty sure I answered Renegades before you answered Renegades. By the way,
right, now hold on. Now I got to be the mediator.
In the Discord chat. Taylor's going to settle this.
Based in NA.
To be fair, Onset, he was a minute ahead of you, and he said Renegades 3-2. And to be fair, Onset, you just said Renegades with the lowercase r, so you don't even really have that much confidence in these boys.
I said it in the chat before I put it in the text.
And not willing to call the map score. Like, honestly, right?
That's what I said.
It's going to be
Where's
game
the confidence? Where's the confidence?
Nothing.
For me, it's the uppercase R for Renegades. Fallout put respect on their names. Chat's putting respect on Renegades. So it seems Renegades across the board. Fair enough. I think that's a fair pick. I really do. And for me, I would go with Renegades as well. And the reason why Party Crasher being map 1 is going to give a distinct advantage again for the boys of Renegades. Not Renegades, Ghosts. They lost yesterday to 2 MNK 3-1, and it was a pretty decisive victory 2 MNK was able to get. So with that being said, this should be a solid start for Renegades, but we'll have to see. It's Championship Sunday. Anything can happen, so Onset, Fallout, take it away.
Thank you so much, John. I'm super excited here. I'm sure the players are super nervous as well, because it's single elimination, this bracket. There's no room for mistakes. It's one and done. You lose, you go home. You stay home as it is at the moment. But, I mean, this game's going to be really, really fun. I've also changed the name of Renegades from my side to start with a W, so it's now Wenegades. I'm going to call them that all series long, all right?
Now that Taylor's been calling you out for calling with the lowercase r. You and I both, though, man. I'm excited. Single elimination bracket, win or go home. Truly, every single round counts. And in these arenas games, we saw yesterday on set a couple round 9s that went the distance. Every round truly makes a difference here. You can't choke. You have to be able to finish what you started. And it's been fun to watch. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how you've enjoyed casting arenas, but I've loved it.
Oh, it's been a load of fun. It's been very interesting to watch as well. I love watching pro teams develop strategy so quickly across one day competition. Some of these players have played a lot of arenas. Some of them haven't played a huge amount of arenas, and you're starting to see the strategies develop. You're starting to see teams get used to how they want to approach this particular, style of game that isn't what they're used to in the BR capacity that they've played so much of. But as you can see, we're flying through already, John. It's time to get into our first game of the day. It's Renegades versus Ghost Gaming, and it's on your favorite map. It is on Party Crasher.
Good old Party Crasher, the Mirage Voyage, baby. I'm excited. And not only that, Onset, they split us up in ALGS as a casting duo for a long time ago. It's been a while since On Out, as we're going to call ourselves, or Fonset. I like Fonset better personally.
I like On Out.
You like the miserable one.
Yes,
and On Out. Well, either way, the casting duo is here. Onset and Fallout to call the action. Game number 1 of the UMG Champions Apex Legends 10K Invitational. We're going to kick things off with Kenny on the Renegade squad.
Now, I feel like me and you casting together should come with some sort of headphone warning. So for everyone watching right now, apologies. Make sure you drop them down by a few decibels. But look at the aggression early on here coming in from Renegades. Already taking the hype and already pushing across to the other side of the map here on Mirage Voyage and getting up on top of things. And at the moment, no real damage being output. Just a couple of wingman shots being exchanged. But Renegade's aggression early on here, John, very impressive to see.
Yeah, especially given the fact that they're playing with a substitute, actually. So no PowPow today, the third member of this Renegade squad, which is a big loss, in my opinion. Sauceror going to be tagged up, needs to back out and reset. He's able to do so. He's going to pop that shield bat, reset. Six and Pandxrz, last two alive. Metro currently knocked. They need to find one. They're going to hopefully do that momentarily, but they're letting Renegades reset and heal back up, which is not what you want to do in this situation.
Yeah, that door is really, really important. Just being able to close off that line of sight. Don't want to be too aggressive on that. You kick that door down and there's a player there, you're going to get hit for damage, and it's going to be free damage. So quite smart from both sides, to be honest with you, just to slow things down and see if they can really even things out. But now it's just a little bit of a poke battle. And, you know, you look for small advantages, right? In Apex Legends and in Arena, a door can be massive, John.
It's crazier, right? And only in Apex would a door make the difference in any fight. And that analysis would be ridiculous anywhere else. But we have a 2 versus 2 situation. Six is going for the res, and they know it. Here comes the push. Six can actually bait that res, and it's going to work out. Brilliant bait right there from Six. 2v1, and just like that, Ghost Gaming is going to win the 2 versus 3 situation to clutch up in round number 1.
Yeah, great start there from Ghost Gaming. Good catch as well. Renegades playing with that substitute, like you mentioned. Unfortunately, PowPow not on the lineup today. Not sure why, but that's certainly going to be a player that's going to be missed from his performance yesterday. But Ghost Gaming coming out hot. And this is something they did yesterday, John. And it's something this lineup kind of, I would describe them as one of the most underappreciated rosters, maybe, that we have in Apex Legends. The amount of slaying ability, especially in the likes of Metro, Six, and Pandxrz. And I'm saying Metro at the start because he puts up big stats, but they are dominant in so many team fights. And I think they're one of those teams you got to keep your eye out on moving forward into the next season of ALGS.
Yeah, I completely agree. The ESA Black roster that dropped on the south side of World's Edge, they played really, really well in Champions and ALGS Champs as well. So you're spot on. I'm excited for ALGS 2.0, the next season, whatever that is, and watch this Ghost Gaming squad and their debut under the Ghost banner in the ALGS. Meanwhile, going into round number 2 here, we're watching Metro, controller player, alongside Pandxrz, also a controller player. So 2 controller players on the Ghost Gaming side, 1 keyboard and mouse, and 6. Meanwhile, Renegades, I believe all 3 of them are keyboard and mouse.
Well, Metro doing some good work early on. You can see the Pandxrz is going to be forced back there. Going to use the Phoenix kit to make sure that he gets that HP and those shields completely and utterly recharged. And at the moment, it's a little bit of a standoff. You can see both teams playing this lower side of the map due to the ring pulling towards them. You don't want to be caught traversing across any of that open ground to try and move a little bit later on. But look at this angle here from Pandxrz, and that's going to be the first knock actually coming in. It's a frag grenade from Six thrown up into the sky. But look at those shots from Kenny. Those are as clean as you could possibly want. The Gibby's going to fly at him, and Pathfinder's going to do so. And at the moment, it's more of a kickboxing match going on. And finally, the reload is going to come in, and that will be the round done and dusted. Ghost Gaming managing to take a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and it all started with that angle, that head glitch on that pillar right there for Pandxrz. Only Pathfinder can get up there, I believe. I'm not sure if anyone else is able to jump up or climb up that high. He's able to get the first knock with the head glitch. It comes out on top, but a pretty play from Kenny. That was a brilliant 3-shot wingman down. Did everything he could. The substitute of this Renegades squad, because PowPow was not available to play today, which, by the way, I wasn't aware they were playing with the sub. I may have had a different prediction if I would have known that. I'm just saying.
Do you know what? I'm good with that as well. Like, we're allowed to change our predictions, John. Like, nobody heard. No one's paying attention to the start. It's fine. So me and John both predicting Ghost Gaming to come out on top of this one. You can go back in the VOD. Unfortunately, that will be deleted. But Ghost Gaming, a great start here. 2-0 up. And another round here, John. The first map will be theirs. And you can already see the flatline going to be picked up here by Pandxrz as well. And doing a little bit of damage, moving towards those meds to make sure he can secure them on the Pathfinder. Something that we saw a lot of yesterday, John, that Pathfinder grapple being vital to teams getting in and out and kind of being tasked with collecting those meds and making sure it brings them back for the team.
Yeah, that's right. Now, like the strategy from Renegades, they're going to realize, hey, Pandxrz is wide right now. Let's push this 3v2 elsewhere. Ghost Gaming, wisely though, are going to recognize the push, and they're going to actually back out, let Pandxrz get those meds, and then try and take a position within the Mirage Voyage. So now we have a little bit of a stacked situation. We have Renegades on top. We have Ghost Gaming on bottom of this 2-story house. And as a result, I'd say Renegades has a slight advantage in terms of high ground. We'll see if they can actually take that to their advantage.
Let's see how this one plays out. A couple of Skynades coming in, but nobody connecting. We saw how important Skynades were just in the previous round. The first knock from that frag grenade being thrown up into the heavens and descending back on top of people. But here comes the push now from Ghost Gaming, turning low ground into even ground. Panda's doing good damage, but Six will go down at the start here. Damage from the flatline again, but no knocks coming in, unfortunately. As I say that, there's one, and now Sauceror John finds himself as last player alive.
That's right, Sauceror now left in a 1 versus 1 situation, I believe, making a 1v2 here, and here comes the push. Look at that brilliant aggression coming through, and just like that, we're going to have a quick round one for Renegades here, 2-1 in this one. They needed that one brutally.
They really, really did, and it was a great execution. I love the damage that was being done by the flatline. Didn't manage to get a knock with it, but just made those fights so much easier. If someone's doing damage with a flatline and you've got a wingman in your hands, then it's so easy just to finish off one kill, transfer that crosshair over with a little flick to another player, and you really can be in position to capitalize on a lot of damage. So we talk about weapon compositions as well as legend compositions. The flatline and the wingman work really well together if you've got a damage dealer and someone who's there to clean things up.
That's right. I just want to point out, I love the play with the flatline from Pandxrz right there, doing such a good job staying alive and doing so much damage output. That's what makes him so special as a player. The amount of DPS that he does, or damage per second in a given day, Pandxrz, and one of the most talented and underrated controller players in my eyes.
Well, now into our next round. No knocks so far, but big damage onto Kenny. Some shots going to be exchanged across this bridge, and some nice wingman shots once again coming in from Sauceror, who really was lighting things up yesterday. Another 41 going to hit the body. So no knocks, as you say, but bowser's going to be forced to med, and now it becomes a little bit of a med game. We've seen this yesterday as the Skynades go up again, John. Initial damage is vital, but it's all about also expending those meds on the other team.
That's right. It becomes a game of kind of resource management. Who can get the other team to waste their resources first? When we say resources, for anyone new to Apex, we mean things like heals, meds, inventory. And of course, right now, Kenny's going to go get some additional inventory with the pill or the supply crate there. Meanwhile, Saucer's going to get pushed, and Nishaf goes to recognize they have an opportunity to take a 3v1 on Saucer. Bowser and Saucer both go down, leaving Kenny last alive. It's game point right now, and Ghost Gaming is looking to step on the throat.
Kenny is going to have to hit some big shots here. They're going to have to be perfect. Unfortunate for him, just not going to be able to get it done. And Ghost Gaming will step up here in our first map, John. A 3-1 success for them, and it was pretty dominant, you have to say. Looked really, really clean.
Yeah, that's right. The one round that Renegades won honestly could have gone Ghost Gaming. It was left in a 1 versus 1. It was a close round nonetheless. So yeah, you're spot on. Ghost Gaming looking so very strong. To me, what really stood out for this squad, we talk about their DPS, we talk about how skilled they are, how much damage they do, but it was a strategy. We saw a diversity and variety of strategies there, and an ability to recognize what is happening in any given round and to capitalize on that. In that last round, they saw Kenny's going for the pill. That gives us a 3v2. Let's take those numbers, let's play with aggression, and as a result, they came out on top.
Yeah, one thing that always impresses me as well that I'm seeing develop more and more, that I kind of highlighted that I'd like to see more at the start of yesterday's competition, was the use of grenades pretty early on into rounds, whether that's denying someone going for meds, whether that's trying to push someone off a position and then push him from there. And that's something that I thought that Ghost Gaming did really well. We saw that Skynade. It was only around sort of 20 seconds into a round when they decided to throw that one up into the air to clean off that platform, force players down, and then take the height themselves. It was impressive to see, and for me, I think that's going to be a real standout feature of some of the best teams in arenas that we see moving forward.
Yeah, which, by the way, I don't know if Skynade is an official term, but nonetheless, if you just coined it, if it's been coined, I'm a fan. I like Skynade.
I'd love to take credit.
I personally
it's
go
not me.
with Kobe. It's not you, but I personally go with Kobe's all the time. They're just like, they're only Kobe's, but nonetheless, I still like Skynade.
I mean, I'm not a fan of American sports, so I don't want to confuse myself or anyone else watching. That's the only problem. When you guys start throwing the basketball analogies, exactly, bucks in 6 to me, that sounds like some sort of, rounding up cattle into 6 sort of pen. I don't know what's going on. Do you know what I mean? It's really weird. And Ghost Gaming, to be honest, made Renegades look like they weren't sure what was going on in that first map on Party Crasher. Overflow next, though, John, a pretty similar feel for me as far as the map compared to Party Crasher. Very linear map, lots of lines of sight for those wingmen to hit, and with the way that first game went, I really can't see Ghost Gaming slipping up here.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Ghost Gaming was a perfect, if I remember correctly, perfect 3-0 on Overflow yesterday. Renegades also did not lose on Overflow yesterday, but Ghost Gaming looked really sharp in this map. We saw a ton of different strategies from them. We saw the use of Octane Jump Pad to take mid-map as fast as they can to kind of catch the team off guard. So expect a lot more where that came from. I think Overflow is looking good. You're going to see the Ghost Gaming train continue here. They're looking so incredibly strong on set.
Oh, 100%. I think it will. I think the one thing that really stands out for me as well on this particular map is, when you get that first damage, is your Pathfinder going to be the type of player who's going to try and capitalize on it? Is he going to use that grapple to fly in, try and get that first knock, or make sure that damage turns into the knock? The conversion rate, I think, is really important here. And it's a difficult stat to try and track, but I'd like to see a conversion rate from initial damage to knocks, if that was something that could be thrown into the boiling pot, whatever you want to call it. But if that is something that the Pathfinders can take advantage of, it really kind of validates that choice of legend, because it's the only legend that you can close so much ground so quickly and turn that damage into knocks.
Yeah, that combined with Octane and an Octane jump pad, which the difference is, though, Octane jump pads is the ultimate you only get every few rounds, and of course the grapple, you can get a few of them consistently throughout the game. So you're spot on there, and that's why it's great to see the return of Pathfinder into viable meta for at least arenas in Apex Legends. I don't think we'll see it in VR for quite some time, but it's been fun to watch the return of Pathfinder for sure. Almost every single team playing Pathfinder, playing Octane, playing Gibraltar. We saw some Bangalore yesterday come from the hands of Team Liquid and others, so a little bit of diversity there, but that's really been the comp that's stuck.
I don't know what I've enjoyed more, the return of Pathfinder or the lack of Bloodhound, to be honest with you. Because players having to be aware and having to work out where players are, 90% of what makes a good FPS. It's been nice to see once again. That was a little bit of shade being thrown there, but what can you say? But Kenny now going to be with that wingman in hand, looking to do a little bit of damage. There's a Pathfinder just across from me here. You can see that muzzle flash coming in, but unfortunately for Kenny, he's going to be in a straight 1v1 here. He's going to hit some shots, but they're not going to be good enough. He'll be taken down by the flatline, and now it's all up to Pandxrz to try and stay alive. And unfortunately for him, it looks like that might not be something he'll be able to do. He'll go down. It'll be Renegades who come out hottest here in the first round on Overflow.
Yep, interesting stuff right there. Even though we saw Kenny push wide right, get taken out, I think Renegades ended up actually taking the round overall. So we missed what happened in the center of the map right there. But I think we can safely say flatline greater than wingman in close quarters combat, as obviously Kenny was left in a position where he had to push, had to play aggressive here. We'll see what happens in round 2. And, one thing to keep in mind, if you're maybe new to arenas, you've watched Apex in the past, but never arenas, the zone is in a different place every single round in arenas, much like an actual Battle Royale game. So teams will play different strategies based on where the zone is kind of flexing towards. And that's why here you see them playing on the opposite side of the map. The initial zip line going to be dropped off the rip for that quick mobility that you talked about earlier, the ability to kind of narrow down distances. And you're going to see both teams play for the left side of the map here.
Bubble's going to be forced, though, and there's going to be a push already coming in. Look at this. Even though they used the zip line to get towards those meds, it wasn't as simple as you might imagine. Renegades have already lost one in bowswer. Kenny goes down as well, and now it's all up to Sauceror. Wingman in hand, a hope and a prayer. It's not going to be enough for him, and I mean, that was clean. That was about as good as you can get. Ghost Gaming really doing well, and I'm pretty sure there was a nade banked onto those meds to start things off because it looked like Renegades had complete control and with that zip line being able to get there first.
Yeah, indeed, it did. Ghost Gaming. I'll call it the Ghost Gaming special, by the way. 0 to 100 real quick, wiping a team in an entire round in the blink of an eye with a strategy like that is, hey, let's just push, get in their face, and win a close quarters combat, especially with 2 controller players in their team. They're going to have that advantage, and they're going to want to take that advantage. Of course, controller known to be good in close quarters. Mouse and keyboard known to be better at long distance because he's got a little bit more control and accuracy with weapons like the G7 Scout or the longbow. So expect a lot more of that aggression from the likes of Ghost Gaming. We'll see how they play this round.
Kenny going to be flying in early here for Renegades, using that grapple to try and get position high on the map. Going to do a little bit of damage with that Volt. Only 26 in total, but it's going to be enough to chip away at the shields. And now Ghost Gaming, you can see them all inside of this bubble here. It's going to be another bubble fight going down. Metro loses all of his shields. Panda's lost them all as well. 6 joins them as the third. And now, unfortunately, even though they've lost all of those shields and they've done that damage, Renegades weren't initially able to take advantage. Now they have managed to pick up one here, and now they should be able to close things out. There will be that final kill coming in. For a second, it looked a little bit scary for Renegades there, John, but they managed to get the job done.
They did, yeah. So despite a member of Renegades going down early, that's why you can never panic. You can never always say that the team that has the 3v2 is always going to win because, yeah, you might get that 3v2, but all 3 members of Ghost Gaming right there were significantly damaged. So Renegades did a good job capitalizing, not letting Ghost hit the reset button. What Ghost wanted to do right there is that as soon as they got that knock, they want to be able to back out, heal back up, reset, take their 3v2. Renegades kept enough pressure to disallow that from happening and was able to come out on top. Great stuff in that little skirmish. And that was an interesting fight, by the way. I love the back and forth there, trading shot for shot. And in the end, Renegades came out on top.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to see added to the observer mode for arenas is certainly both teams' HP displayed on the heads-up display, so we could really track what team has more HP going into that team fight, because it tells a little bit of a different story, right? Like you mentioned, we might say, oh, it's an amazing 1v2, but it might be a 1v2 where one player has 200 HP and the others have 20 combined. So it's going to be Renegades now looking to pick up this third round and put themselves into position to tie up the series as well. And this has been a good comeback from the John.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Good to see Renegades bouncing back here in game 2. We might have a nail-biter of a series. We both kind of were thinking it would be going to game 5 potentially. Renegades going to back out, though. They got the pill and they got the heals on the far left side there. So they're like, we don't have to force a fight. We have better resources than them. We want to try and extend this fight as much as we possibly can. And Pandxrz with the wide right flank. Only a controller player thinks like that. Call of Duty Halo player, you name it. Nice job from Pandxrz, but it's going to be Metro picks up the 2 knocks. One member left of Renegades. It's Sauceror, former team captain of the Flying Saucers way back in early ALGS days. He's going to get taken out here momentarily, and Ghost Gaming will tie it up at 2 apiece here, trying to go up 2-0 in maps.
You mentioned the Flying Sorcerers. There was a Flying Pathfinder flying down to finish off him there in that final kill. Beautiful stuff, and Ghost Gaming answer back, and Ghost Gaming will get the job done as well. As you can see, they close out the map. They tie it up. Excuse me, they don't tie it up. They managed to close things out, and they're looking pretty strong here, John. I mean, what are your takeaways from that map? Because it just seems so fast-paced. It wasn't, one of the slower rounds. That's the thing I love about Overflow. It forces teams immediately into fight. You see that middle room, it's kind of where the carnage goes down a lot of the time. If you can control that, you usually control the result of the round, and it did it so well in that.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Honestly, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews of Overflow as a map, but one thing I will say from an Apex and competitive perspective, but broadcast perspective, it's fun to watch. A lot of fights for that middle map in corridor, and it comes down to a lot of flank routes, a lot of opportunities to make plays, and you saw Ghost Gaming just make a few extra plays in that fight. And you see this is the round that Renegades went down early, was able to bounce back and win it, but in the end, Ghost Gaming was just looking so incredibly good in this series. They go up 2-0 now, one map away from a clean sweep of Renegades.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed, I've got to say. The Renegades don't have the full roster. I'm going to throw that out there because I feel like we would have had a crazy competitive series. And don't get me wrong, it has been competitive, but at the same time, you can see the scores. You're not stupid. You're not, I don't need to teach you, what 3-1 means. It's a convincing win. And now we're moving over to Gardens as well, where I feel like momentum really does play into things. Those close quarter battles, those, getting up in the face, getting inside of those buildings is what really determines that. When you've got two maps behind you, it's only going to fill you with confidence, John.
Yeah, completely agreed. And from what I've seen from Gardens, it's all about high ground, maintaining top buildings, and whichever team has more confidence to be able to take high ground off the rip tends to have the advantage. Ghost Gaming played Gardens a few times yesterday against 2 MNK, 1 Rolla on the low ground, and was able to sneak out a few rounds, but ultimately whoever can gain control early with the Pathfinder plays, with the Octane plays, quick mobility to high ground, I think will have the advantage, but momentum certainly will be in favor of Ghost Gaming. I got to completely agree.
Yeah, I think it's one of those for Renegades. Sometimes, though, it's one round, right? One round turns the mood, turns, the feels, whatever you want to call it, around in the camp. You win one big round, it might be a 2v3 that they manage to clutch up, or 1v2, whatever it might be. All of a sudden, the adrenaline starts pumping, things start feeling a little bit different, and before you know it, the thing about maps and arenas as well, they can be over so quickly. We've just seen that in the last map. How long did that last? What, 10, 15 minutes? It felt like it was done and dusted, and before you know it, this could be 2-1 in the series, and all of a sudden, the pressure falls back onto Ghost Gaming. So that's the thing about arenas. Fast pace, fast results, fast action.
Yeah, that's spot on. So for Renegades, that's what they want. They want quick rounds here. They want to win this 3-0, 3-1 to force a game 4 and get their way back into this. And it's so different in arenas than a lot of other esports, because just because you're down 2-0 does not mean anything. We saw a lot of near reverse sweeps and comebacks yesterday. If you gain momentum, and in arenas and in Apex, it's such a momentum-based game. We can expect Renegades to potentially bounce back here. So hopefully we can do it. I know the chat picked Renegades to win. Let us know in the chat if you want Renegades to bring it back right now. Let us know if you want Ghost Gaming to close this out 3-0. Who are you cheering for? Let us know as we're going into game number 3. And keep in mind, we got Team Liquid versus Aqualix after this matchup. 2 great matches to start off on set.
I can't believe that chat went against our prediction of Ghost Gaming from the start, John. That's the thing that surprises me. Shocking from you, chat. Shocking from you to go against us. However, we love you, really. And now we're moving on to what could be the final map of this series between Renegades and Ghost Gaming. Ghost Gaming up by 2-0 in map count. 3-1, 3-1. The same score on both. And now it's their chance to really close things out. Renegades, I feel like this first round, really, really vital for them just to get that confidence back, John.
That's right. The first round is going to be super important. I think you're right. Honestly, I'm going to make a bold statement. Whoever wins the first round wins the map.
Okay, I like that. I like these bold predictions. I live for bold predictions. You know me. I like the ones which are a little bit spicy, which give someone something to bring up again a little bit later on, maybe in a different tournament. Those kind of predictions. You know what I mean? That's what I live for. Nobody wants to pick the favorite all the time. That's boring. That's what Girl's been doing. She hasn't really. Don't worry. She's going crazy, and she's been getting everything right. But now we're going to see the first, maybe not against the corner. Oh, what a bubble that is, though, and that's going to give them a little bit of a chance here to reset. The flank is now going to come in. That bubble was absolutely huge for Ghost Gaming, and now they're in complete control. And hey, you want to know a little bit about team fighting in Apex Legends? Well, it's a matter of milliseconds. That bubble gave the extra time, those few seconds for that flank to come in and completely and utterly change the look of that round.
Yeah, take some notes if you want to know about team fighting, because that round was the perfect example of it. Brilliant play right there. And usually we call it a bait and switch. That was a bait and bubble. You're baiting the individual down low ground and then dropping the bubble and using that to completely turn the tides of that fight. Brilliant round right there by Ghost Gaming. Again, their teamwork, immaculate. Their individual skill, immaculate. I'm not sure who it was from Ghost that actually ended up flanking wide there as their two teammates were kind of stuck in the corner on the bubble, but that made the difference as well. Brilliant flanks, brilliant plays, and great teamwork coming through from Ghost Gaming. They win round number 1. And if my prediction's right, that might be a 3-0 sweep there.
You'll have to see how it plays out. One thing that I love is seeing that Kenny has a vault in his hand, but Metro, well, he's got a flatline in his hand, and that hits even harder. The first knock will go into the hands of Ghost Gaming. And I tell you what, when you get that amount of damage done and you're feeling really good about life and thinking, hey, I got the first knock here, and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen, I tell you what, that really does knock the stuffing out of you, and you can see right now, unfortunately for Bowser, he's just had to watch all this happen, and it looks like this could be the end here for Renegades, especially in this round.
Yeah, that's right. Bowser in a 1v3 here. Not much he can do, but that's a good start. Getting some early damage, but here comes the push, and he's going to knock one, gets taken out, of course, by the Gibraltar extra passive shield. It's going to make it even harder. It's a 1v3.5. As a result, Bowser loses. Ghost Gaming goes up 2-0. If you blinked, you would have missed these first 2 rounds, by the way. Ghost Gaming is playing on another level, and they're playing at another octane right now. So fast-paced from this Ghost squad. It's fun to watch.
Oh, I mean, that first knock was heartbreaking. If you wanted a good example, maybe, of the mentality of Renegades, that was it in the series, to be honest with you. Thinking that things are looking good, getting the initial damage, surely we're going to have an advantage here, and then you just get absolutely mollywopped. It is as simple as that. You get dropped on your back by that flatline, and I mean, it's got to hurt finding yourself in a 2v3 after doing that much damage. But now, John, it's a case of Ghost Gaming just needing the one round to close things out, to make themselves feel good, and to pick up the 3-0 sweep.
That's right. Match point, by the way. Ghost wins this. Match is over. That's a 3-0 clean sweep in maps. Renegades, though, trying to put up a fight. They're going to take that high ground, illustrious high ground we talked about earlier, how important it is. We'll see if it ends up paying off in their favor. And again, another stacker. We got Ghost Gaming right below them, inside the house. Ghost has been in this scenario before. This last time they actually tried taking high ground with a push. We'll see if they decide to do the same thing here.
Skynade's coming in once more. Bowser going to be taking the damage, and that's going to be the signal to push. But look at those shots coming in from Sauceror. They are cheeky, and they're going to break some shields. They're going to give him the first knock as well. So Pandxrz is going to be down here for Ghost Gaming, and it looks like Renegades are going to be able to get back to full health as well. So big moment here for Renegades, but can they capitalize? It looks like they're not going to be able to. They're going to try to, but look at this. Immediately, Metro manages to get that trade, and now it's a 2v2.
That's right. Metro, great plays right there. Great team firing. He's going to heal back up as well. He's back up to full shields. Full 2v2. Metro's got to go huge because his teammate has no health. The use of the door, and this is the Ghost Gaming dojo, by the way, because this is where they won a round against 2MNK yesterday. That was disgusting, but this time they're not able to pull it off. Renegades gets a round win, and Ghost Gaming maybe a little too confident right there, trying to take high ground. It's the second time they've done that, second time they've gotten punished.
Yeah, big first knock again. That was the difference in that round. Yep. First knock going to Renegades. They managed to make it work. They tried to push. One thing that I loved as well is they were a little bit patient once that initial knock came in, and then they used that audio cue as soon as they heard the Reds being held down. Then they decided, you know what, it's our best advantage to win this round. We've got to push right now. We've got to drop down from high ground and try and get those knocks. They managed to do so. It got a little bit shaky and a little bit scary towards the end, but you have to say they executed exactly on what their game plan was there.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, a little use of some free cam here from our observer. Shout, by the way, to Ribs, one of our observers here, a longtime friend of mine, co-caster in the gear scene, holding it down right now, catching all the action for us as we're taking a look. Renegade going for the same strat that Nate's going to hit, and they're going to know that. They're going to get hit markers. Do they push off that? Last time they got punished for it. This time they say, yeah, let's learn from our mistakes.
They're going to try. Just trying to get there before the meds are going to be popped. There's a little bank nade as Kenny gets taken down to around 50 HP. But he's going to have to back. Bowser's going to have to do the same. And for all of the damage that's being done at the moment, Renegades are managing to hold off this push from Ghost Gaming. Having said that, though, here comes a push from Ghost Gaming. I love this from Pandxrz. You can see his teammates trying to climb up, and he's repositioned himself here to try and get some damage to give them that cover they need to really push and take advantage of the damage being done and turn them into knocks.
Yep. When we say head glitch, by the way, this is what we mean, right? Getting yourself in an angle where they can only see your head, and you can just kind of peek in and out and doing some damage, just sprinkling the other team, forcing them to pop all their shield cells. Because keep in mind, Renegades are playing high ground. They have not gotten any additional heals. This is obviously round 4, so they bought a bunch of heals. They should be okay. Saucer's going to get tagged up so much here. Forced to use yet another shield battery. I think that might be his last one. Pandxrz wants to push. He's not done yet.
I'm not sure if that's a head glitch when a Pathfinder's on it. It's more of a fridge glitch, if you want to call it that, because of the size of the hitbox that Pathfinder unfortunately still has, but still getting that work done. And Pandxrz trying to take advantage. The grapple wasn't quite there. Didn't manage to quite get the full momentum on the swing to take that high ground and capitalize on the damage. And at the moment, it's a little bit of a standoff between the two. Damage being exchanged from both teams, but nobody able to get that first knock.
Renegades playing like their tournament life depends on it. Well, because it does. This is, again, match point here. If they tie this up, they're going to win by 2. So Metro going to get hurt, and it looks like this is a Renegades round. But as I say that, it's going to be Metro who puts in so much work, does so much damage. But now they're going to allow Renegades to heal back up, take their 3v2, and just like that, Renegades makes it a 3v1. Pandxrz last alive, and I think this is going to be a Renegades round, Mark.
But it is the Pathfinder, and as we know, Pathfinder can get a little bit funky with the movement to try and isolate the 1v1s, but you're right, it was difficult to do, and Renegades managed to capitalize and collapse onto that final player alive. Now 2-2. All of a sudden, Ghost Gaming, we thought they were running away with this one, and now we've got to get a couple of rounds ahead for us to have a winner here on our third map. And you got to say, this has been a really good comeback here from Renegades, having a lot more success here on Gardens than they had previous maps.
Yeah, that's right. And it's ever since they kind of switched up their play style and started playing on high ground, and obviously being patient as a result. I wonder how Ghost Gaming in this next round changes their play style, though, because 2 rounds in a row, same thing has happened. I bring this up almost every broadcast, rightfully so. Definition of insanity. Trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I want to see Ghost Gaming shake it up here. And it looks like they might be playing and trying to contest that high ground.
Zipline versus the jump pad, and they're both going to meet in the middle. However, the zipline is going to give them a little bit more height and a little bit more distance. So Ghost Gaming this time going to be the odd switcheroo, as it will be them who have control of the ultimate high ground, and Renegades will have the lower ground here. Oh, there's a brave play, and he goes in for the stick. I'm not sure if he managed to get it, but Six took a lot of damage on the way down. Panda's doing so as well. Metro, the only player alive here on Ghost Gaming who has full shields. He's going to have to hold off Renegades, but I kind of like this, to be honest with you, from Ghost Gaming. They want to get aggressive, but look at this. Renegades hold off the push, and they get the first knock.
That's right, and here we go. Renegades in a 3v2, and now they're going to be able to heal back up, so this should be a Renegades round. Maybe even be a 3v1, actually might be even over. Yes, it is. That you blinked and you missed it. But right there, notice the difference, Mark, in how Ghost Gaming plays high ground when they get it and how Renegades plays high ground. That's the difference between a controller player and a mouse and keyboard player, by the way. Ghost Gaming immediately drops and plays for the heroes, for the hero motion. Renegades takes their time, chills, waits for Ghost Gaming to get impatient. The difference in play style here is stark.
Renegades now just need 1 more round. And it's 2-1 in the series. And all of a sudden, it's series on between these two. And it's single limb, just to remind everyone at home as well. So, like you alluded to earlier, it's a case of an early day's work here for Renegades if they don't manage to extend this series. And the same can be said for Ghost Gaming if they don't manage to close things out. But Ghost Gaming here, not quite making the most of that jump pad off the start here, John.
Yeah, that's right. Nades are going to hit, though, and for quite a bit of damage. Oh my gosh, Pathfinder almost gets knocked off the building, and you wonder if they're going to play off that. Otherwise, it's a wasted nades. They decide not to. The dome shield is too much. It's kind of hard to push that. So wasted nades are going to come through, and as a result, Renegades will just reset and just play the outlasting game to try and close the game out.
Well, this is where Renegades have had their success, when they've had the high ground and they've managed to pick away at those shields, chip away with that damage, and turn it into that first knock. Nades have been used, so we'll keep our eyes on Ghost Gaming's nade inventory and see what else they've got to use. The frag grenade's obviously best for throwing up into the sky to get that initial explosion, but you can see they've still got a couple of arc stars to work with, so maybe a stick, or maybe just try to land one of those arc stars and do some damage to multiple targets might be the play here for Ghost.
They have a few nades left. You're spot on. That's their only way they can take this. But Renegades recognizes a 3v2, and they take it. They pounce. Here comes the push. Nice shot by Ghost Gaming on the defensive, backing out, resetting. Here comes the flank. Metro needs to do something. He's going to just run away with his tail between his legs. And Renegades is controlling this game. They down 1, they down 2. Last alive is 6. That's going to be Renegades as your champion here in game number 3. They finally get a map on the board. They stay alive.
All right. Here we go. We got a series on, John. This is more what I was expecting. I was a little bit worried at the start of things. Ghost Gaming running away with things. Renegades maybe not quite woken up yet, but now they certainly have. They have the advantage here, John. And you have to say that things started to click a little bit in those final rounds. It really did feel like the teamwork was starting to find its feet. You know, the shots were starting to hit. They were managing to play a little bit more as a unit than they were in those first 2 maps.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see it here in the replays, right? First 2 rounds, Renegades was playing into Ghost Gaming's favor, taking early fights, not resetting, not slowing the pace of the game down. That is Ghost's bread and butter. That is their style. And as a result, well, Ghost destroyed them in the first 2 rounds. You thought it'd be a clean 3-0 sweep. But after that, Renegades said, you know what? Let's play our style. Let's play for high ground. Let's slow the pace. And they won 4 straight rounds. Ghost had no answer.
These are some of the replays that we saw. This was the closing out. This was the round that Renegades really needed as well. Renegades were kind of struggling at this point. They needed to just get a little foothold in this map, in the series, to be honest with you. And hitting shots like that with a Vault is one way of doing things, really just get that confidence back. But this was a really big round for me. Renegades managing to hold off numerous Skynades and managing to do a huge amount of damage afterwards with the Eva 8. It showed that they found that pattern like we were talking about. They knew what Ghost Gaming were doing. And I talked about this yesterday. Strategy is one thing. Counter strategy is absolutely vital, and recognizing what your opponent is trying to do and coming up with a way to work against that.
Yeah, that's right. And as a result, Ghost had no answer. 4 straight rounds, and that's talk about a momentum shift. You lost 2, but it's okay. If you win the following 4 and going into Thermal Station, they are 4 rounds undefeated here, and they want to continue that momentum straight into Thermal Station. We'll see if Renegades can make this an interesting one. They certainly have already started, but they got 2 more maps to go here.
Yeah, Thermal Station is going to be an interesting one for me because it's one of the maps yesterday that it felt very positionally heavy. If you got control of the dome on one side, usually you come out on top, right? And on the other side, if you got control of that platform, you would also come out on top. So it was kind of almost a race to start things, especially when you start to see the jump pads and the zip lines come into play. But both teams playing a Pathfinder is vital, I feel, on this map, especially with those tall columns that you can zip line up onto, you can grapple onto, I should say, to get that height advantage and pin a team back. So Pathfinders, I feel like, are kind of the X factor on this map, John. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, no, I definitely would. I think Pathfinder, the ability to leverage zip lines, to leverage grapple, to basically create distance, I think is going to be helpful for Renegades. And in my eyes, a map like Thermal Station, crazy sight lines, long-range poke battles. You don't have to force fights necessarily, and I think that's going to play in Renegades' favor. I think if they continue to play this slow, passive style of play, drawing the round out, forcing Ghost to make mistakes, getting out of the game that Ghost wants to be in, which is a map like Overflow, where they can just bang out in the center line, the 50-yard line of the map, then Renegades could potentially win this map and force a Game 5. I think Thermal Station plays into their hand. I think we might be seeing a Game 5 here, Mark.
Oh, I hope so. This is what we predicted at the start, and I'll tell you what, if Renegades win the next one, then I might have to go back and edit the VOD one more time to make sure that my original prediction was Renegades. But, I mean, it doesn't matter about our predictions. We predicted a banger of a series, and that's exactly what we're looking like we're going to get. And this is the real swing game. If Renegades manage to pick this win up, then we will be going to that Game 5. But this is where Ghost Gaming feel like probably they have to close this one out, because going into a Game 5, John, off the back of 2 losses in maps and, you know, losing a 2-0 map advantage and looking down the barrel of a reverse sweep is one of the worst feelings in esports.
That's right, especially in a map like Artillery, which, again, if it does go to Game 5, I think Artillery could play into their favor as well. So across the board here, I think things are looking a little bit brighter for Renegades, but we know how good this Ghost Gaming squad is. Looks like they had a potential disconnect or might need a remake, so we'll be pausing for at least a second, gives us more of a chance to set the stage here for game number 4. And I got to agree with you. If Renegades wins 3-2, I'm just going to say I told you so, because I'm looking right at my Discord chat where I said Renegades 3-2. It was clear as day in writing. That was the prediction from the beginning.
I'll leave mine in there because I just remember that you can delete things in Discord, so it's fine. So I can leave it and then screenshot it later. I'm so smart, honestly. There's no way that I get predictions wrong. But unfortunately, yeah, sorry, everyone. There's a little bit of an issue there in the game. We'll get that set back up as soon as we possibly can. But talk to me a little bit about Thermal Station, because we've seen a little bit of it so far. For me, it feels like a little bit of a stale map as far as the arena's map pools are concerned. It's a little bit slower. It doesn't offer as many different levels of elevation, which I think make the better arena maps exactly that, make them a lot more entertaining to watch, especially with Pathfinder, Octane, whatever you might use to change those elevations. Do you like it? Are you a fan of it? Are you a fan of the straight shootout, like a Western? What do you like?
It's like a Western. It's a little standoff there is what it feels like. I think stale is the right word to use. You're spot on. There's not a lot of diversity of gameplay on Thermal Station. You're either playing for center map and control, or you're playing outer ring behind the lava. One team plays one way, one team plays the other way. Standoff until the ring kind of forces a fight, or someone's able to team fire well enough to take an advantage. So across the board, I agree with Thermal Station, and I think it's going to be an interesting game for that plays in Renegade's hand, though.
Well, before we get to that game, we're going to go for a quick break while we get everything set up for you wonderful people at home watching. So give us a few moments. When we get back, it's going to be map number 4, Renegades on the comeback path. We'll have to see if they can tie up the series in just a few. Welcome back once more, everybody, to the UMG Champions Apex Legends 10K Arenas Invitational. We told you it'd just be a quick break, and we're back, and we're here for Game 4, John. Renegades versus Ghost Gaming, 2-1 at the moment to Ghost Gaming, but Renegades, having taken that last map, have really started to light this series up.
That's right, making things interesting. And I think that's what you'd expect, right? Renegades playing with a substitute in Kenny takes a little bit for that chemistry to mold, for things to form. And, you know, map 3, you started to see they kind of created a groove as a team. Because no matter what the roster is, with a new player, a third player, your DNA is going to change just slightly. And you have to figure out what that new DNA is, what that play style is. And for Renegades, like I keep kind of saying, and I'm going to keep insisting this, especially in a map like Thermal Station, slow the game down, play for long range poke, do not get in these close quarter combat fights against the likes of Ghost Gaming.
It's going to be Kenny once again on Pathfinder, being tasked with collecting those meds and giving Renegades the advantage that they will be looking for. You can see the Ghost now making that rotation across to the other pill on the other side. So a little bit of an exchange here. Neither team headbutting. And this is where, like I mentioned, it becomes a little bit like a Western. You know what I mean? This is where the shootout starts to begin here, John. Both teams just standing off from each other, looking for those head glitches and looking for that initial damage.
That's right. Saddle up, Cowboys. All right, because we got the wingmans in play. We got the pistols. We got bowswer, who obviously been playing insane with the wingman for the last couple of days. Sauceror hitting some great shots as well. And we saw Renegades yesterday on this map capitalize. So I think with this little Western standoff type of play style, Renegades continues to fare well. And here we go. Bowswer already starting it off with a couple shots.
Well, the shots are going to do damage, and Pandxrz is still going to be pretty safe there. You can see they're going to have to move towards where Renegades are holding at the moment here, Ghost Gaming. So they've got the more difficult pathing to really get engaged in some sort of battles. That care package is down as well. You can see the angle that Sauceror has there at the bottom right hand of your screen as we jump on beautifully, thanks to the observers to see that. Is going to be making sure that nobody can cross uncontested over to that care package to get any sort of weaponry advantage. But you can see on the map overhead as well, and that dome is going to be central to things, and where Renegades are set up at the moment. And this is going to be a slow round here, John.
Yeah, it is. First ring's going to close. Both teams will still be in zone, and the fight will not necessarily be forced. I think it's not going to be until that second ring closes that we'll see the action start to unfold. Keep in mind that, keep a close eye on that care package, right? Because first round, that care package is crucial to get additional ammo, to get better weapons. Most teams can only afford a wingman or a flatline early on. Well, guess what? Now you got both.
522 ammo as well, which is always going to be nice. I don't think I've ever had that much in my inventory moving forward. Six is going to be taking a little bit of damage though for Ghost Gaming, and we're going to be forced to bubble just to the left-hand side here. But look at these beams coming in from the flatline, and almost Metro with those shots managing to get the first knock of the game. However, just a slither of HP enough to keep the player alive from Renegades, and now they're going to be forced to move once more.
Yeah, look at Pandxrz with the angles. I'm going to call Pandxrz Spider-Man from now on, because every time I look at him, he's climbing some sort of building or object or a lamppost or something. And right now, sitting with the ultimate angles on high ground, he was able to do enough damage to keep his team alive and to force people like Bowser to have to heal up. If it wasn't for Pandxrz in that position right there, they would have pounced on that opportunity.
Well, these head glitches here that Renegades have are disgusting, to say the least. I mean, look at it. How are you meant to hit a player? Even Pathfinder is going to be on a head glitch here. The fridge glitch, whatever you want to call it. The Renegades at the moment, you can see that they've managed to initially hold off the push, but Pandxrz has made a huge play here, managing to get up on top as the Pathfinder, and now all of a sudden, Ghost Gaming might have just pinched Renegades in here.
That's right, Ghost Gaming playing this so incredibly well, but nice job from Renegades to try and make something out of nothing here. 1v1 and 1v none, as Renegades is going to win that round, I believe, and a round that I thought Ghost Gaming had the pinch, had the advantage. Renegades pounces on the two members and outshoots, outfires, and outplays Ghost Gaming here round one.
Yeah, great job from them to prioritize the target there. It can be one of those situations that's very sticky, right? You've got a player above you, you're a little bit worried about it, but if three of you are firing against two players, you're most likely going to get the first knock, right? Even with a player above you who might be doing a little bit of damage. If you can get that first knock and then you can spin around and do more damage, then you're going to win that. It's just about prioritizing the first target. And you have to say that Renegades did a really good job there of playing patient, like you pointed out in the last map that we saw that brought them success, but also the communication was on point to make sure that they got that first knock.
That's right. Ghost Gaming this time does not want that stalemate scenario. They recognize, hey, this is not where we succeed. They're going to take this fight and see if it pays off. This is the Ghost Gaming special here, playing with aggression, playing as a team, and getting some good shots. If Pandxrz goes down, Metro's going to knock one. 2v2 situation here. On board with Metro, the GOAT. Now the Ghost playing alongside Six, and it's going to be a 2v2 pure fight, and it's going to be Renegades who keeps their foot on the gas pedal, takes down Metro, makes it a 2v1, and should be able to close this round.
Yeah, Six is going to be struggling here. He's only got cells to play with as well, so can't get back up to full HP as quickly as he would want to really try and make things a little bit different. But there's a grenade, and there's a big wingman shot as well. Where he managed to get that knock, it won't, unfortunately, turn into what he was looking for. But great idea, great play, just making sure that, you know, he was going to turn a disadvantageous situation where they weren't going to be expecting him to push into one where he might have been able to even the odds. But in the end, Renegades 2 up now, John. And now, wow, Thermal Station looks like home for Renegades. 1 round away from taking this map.
Indeed it does. Hey, listen, they're the Renegades. Their logo is a cowboy, or is a renegade. So yeah, I will say the Western shootout type of style of play here in game number 4 plays into their favor. Nice job so far from the Renegade squad, going up to, oh, that's 6 straight rounds on set. Talk about a steamroll right now for Renegades. So much momentum in their favor, and what a way to start the UMG Champions Tournament. I wouldn't expect anything else here on Championship Sunday based on how crazy this tournament has been so far.
Can you believe that Renegades came in today and decided they were going to try and hustle Ghost Gaming? I mean, the disrespect, right? Losing the first 2 maps, then turning up, and all of a sudden, it could be 2-2, and we could be going to that game 5, but Renegades have got to close this out. Even though they're 2 up, they've still got to make sure that they close things out here in a 3-0 fashion, just to make sure they have maximum momentum going into that final map. And you can see that Ghost Gaming now trapped inside of this dome. They're going to be holding down all of these angles as Renegade are patrolling on top.
That's right. So, similar situation to what we've seen a few times now. Once on Garden, last map. And of course, previous to that, we've seen it as well. We've seen both teams end up in this scenario. Renegades on top, Ghost Gaming below. Both times Ghost Gaming said, you know what, let's YOLO. They had all the confidence in the world. They decided to push it, and both times they lost. This time something tells me that will not happen, as Ghost Gaming is starting to say, okay, maybe we're not all that we thought we were in these 3v3 pound-for-pound skirmishes. I think it's going to be a slightly slower play here. We'll see where the zone pulls, because if it pulls anywhere away from the cylinder, then I think advantage Renegades.
He's going to pull away, but Dome's still involved for now, so they're going to be fine for a few more moments. But Ghost Gaming, it's all about those sky nades. If they have grenades to work with and they can get them on top, and they can manage to force even one player from Renegades down onto that low ground, and they can take advantage by popping out of those doors and getting that early beam, then they might have an opportunity here to get that first knock. But for now, you can see that things are really slowing down. And this is, I think, Ghost Gaming showing that they're feeling a little bit nervous here, John. They don't want to be the team to make the play. They want Renegades to try and make the play on them.
Yeah, that's right. Different than what we've seen before. You're definitely right, though, about the Sky Nades as the best potential, best opportunity for them. The ring will pull away eventually. So in my eyes, Ghost wants to try and make a play maybe before then, because if they don't, then as they try and rotate or Pathfinder zipline away or something, Renegades are going to put so much damage into their backs here. So before this ring ends up collapsing in about 45 seconds, I think Ghost wants to do something, but we'll see where this ring goes here in just a second.
Zone 2 is going to be closing. There's a little bit of damage. The first damage really exchanged, to be honest, in the round whatsoever, and it was only just a little cheeky hello to the player below from Kenny. He's going to be moving towards the center, so you can see that both teams will have to move, and now it's going to be a battle of Gibby domes, you feel. Who's going to throw that dome first? Who's going to be able to get into position? And who's going to win that straight bubble fight? That's what I would imagine is going to happen here. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's right. In these situations, it tends to be a game of chicken. You know, you want to be the last team to throw that dome, so you have the last protection and the last laugh in the end. And this is a crucial round for Ghost Gaming. Game point right now for Renegades to force a round number 5 zone pulling center of the map. So both teams will have to rotate here. And here comes the push. Renegades going to drop on top of them. Here comes 3v3 straight fight here, Mark.
Damage got done initially, but look at this. Ghost Gaming, they're now in a 2v3. Things not looking good for them at the moment. Their wingman shots are hitting, but not hard enough. And now Metro is left on his own. He has the vault to work with, but he doesn't have the HP. And Renegades will win the bubble fight. And with that, they will win the game, and they will tie up the series here, John. 2-2. Our predictions were right. It's a game of 5 in our first match of the day.
God, Mark, we are brilliant. Honestly,
Geniuses,
our predictions,
honestly.
are so good. It's like we know so much about this game. Hence why we called Renegades in 5 the entire time. Never wavered. Never even once considered changing our prediction here, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, no one can prove otherwise. That's the good thing about the online broadcast as well, and the way that Twitch works. So, I mean, what a performance though from Renegades to be 2-0 down and put 2-0 down in some sort of style as well, 3-1, 3-1, and then to answer back in the way that they have. I think it's a great point that you made, John. You know, they found that rhythm. They had the sub come in, but now they found that rhythm again.
Yep, that's right. That's exactly what you're looking for a team that's starting with a new substitute. They're finding their DNA, they're finding their rhythm, and they're playing incredibly well. We are in for a great Game 5, Mark.
Well, Game 5 is just around the corner. Time for us to jump into one more quick break. But when we get back, Game 5 between Renegades and Ghost Gaming, it's been a banger. This one is going to be even better.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. Taylor Reflections Noble joined by Fallout and Onset. And what a series we have here. I know you guys have been, touting or toting or whatever the saying is your horn, all right? And rightly so. You guys predicted Renegades to win. But when it comes down to girls, she's been very confident about Ghost. But now, I think she's starting to sweat. I'm not going to lie. I think she's starting to sweat. But
Taylor, I just got to correct you. It's tooting our
See,
horns.
man, you know what? I shouldn't even have said it if I didn't know how to say it, but I was so confident. I was so confident in that intro that I was like, tooting, okay? You know what? So fair enough, tooting. You got me with the Apex Legends yesterday. Now you get me with the tooting. Fair enough, but you know what? I'm going to get you. No, you did change your opinion and you went to Ghost. No, I just want to say, and I don't have to leak the Discord DMs, okay? Onset's been supporting Renegades since the very start. You changed up and you switched up in the Discord.
I can't even remember who I'm supporting now, let alone like who John's supporting. I don't know who. I just know one of the two teams is going to win. There you go. There's a political answer for you.
Straight lying.
That's all right, that's a bold prediction on set. One of these two teams is going to win. No, you're 100% correct on that. But let's talk about it. I mean, Kenny has been a great addition, it seems. I mean, anytime you change up a cog in the machine, right? The machine takes a little bit of time to get oiled up and get working correctly again. But clearly, the machine is up, well oiled. It's working. It's broken in, and Renegades is looking to take this series. So a little bit of a short break. I got to hop out, but Onset Fallout, take it away and really break down how much of an impact Kenny has had.
I mean, he's been great. I mean, I think you alluded to the point that is most relevant here, John, which is he's always going to take a little bit of time, right, for a player to come in, find rhythm. And it took him a couple of maps. But ever since then, he has slotted in. He's an incredibly talented player. We can see that. We know what he can do as a player individually. We've seen it all season long in the ALGS. But to come in and find, your footing and find the way you want to play alongside two players, especially in team fights, which are incredibly probably the biggest amount of coordination you could want in Apex Legends in such a short amount of time is a testament to how well he's been playing the last two maps.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. Like, what role can you play for this squad? It's kind of like you have to find how you fit into this team that already exists. That's a very difficult spot to be, and Kenny's done a really good job of that. Obviously, took a little bit of time, but I've been very impressed by his gameplay. Of course, a member of the full Apex Pro XSET squad. We had the Valorant Pro player XSET squad competing yesterday, which was pretty fun to watch. BCJ, former member of T1, but now we get to watch a little bit of the other side of the coin with XSET Kenny substituting for this roster. We're going to kick things off with him.
John, are you ready for a Game 5, baby? What a way to start the day. This is what we want. Game 5 between Renegades and Ghost Gaming. And early on here, you can see Bowswer taking a little bit of damage, and it looks like Ghost Gaming are taking that advantage to push up onto the high ground, but they're going to be met here by Bowswer, who's going to be responsible for taking the high ground himself. Longbow in hand as well, and this is something we saw yesterday a lot. Snipers really being prevalent here on Artillery.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why I did say if it goes to Game 5, I feel like Renegades has the slight advantage. Again, they want to play the long game. They want these standoffs. That's where they started succeeding in Garden. That's where they started getting some momentum after losing the first 2 rounds. And since then, that type of play has worked really, really well for them. 3 mouse and keyboard players that can keep their distance, that can hit their shots with mouse and keyboard from range. That's how they want to play this game out. They want to try and extend this round as much as possible.
One longbow bullet is going to hit across map there, and Pandxrz is going to be forced to escape. He was trying to push up there, playing on the Pathfinder. He's going to be popping a Phoenix kit to make sure that he gets back to full complement of health. But now look at this. A little cheeky poke coming in here from Bowswer. No HP, no problem for him, and he manages to clip that player down to a little HP as well. But all of Renegades at the moment currently cuddling in a corner, which is not what you want to be doing in Apex Legends.
Yeah, not necessarily. But right now, that's a decent situation because they're able to swap the Phoenix kit. and get it in the hands of bowswer. So nice job from bowswer, stopping the push from Ghost Gaming with great longbow plays and giving them an opportunity to hit reset. I don't know if Ghost Gaming, oh my gosh, we hit those. I don't know if Ghost Gaming got any heals early on, but it seems like Renegades has all of the heals on the lobby as they continue to heal back up. And again, the longer they play this fight out, the better opportunity they have. It looks like, yeah, Pandxrz actually got the supply crate on the low side.
Pandxrz is going to be exchanging shots with bowswer. This has been a long dance between these two, and nobody really deciding to take the lead and really lead the tango here. But Pandxrz is going to be forced to back out now, moving towards his teammate, playing on the low ground. Both his teammates above him here, and Renegades might have an opportunity here with all three of them up on height to push across. But you can see the ADSing is happening, and that means that you can't push across without taking damage. However, Ghost Gaming and Pandxrz managing to sneak away there and actually pick up a Havoc and a Peacekeeper.
Yeah, Peacekeeper and a Havoc in the hands of Pandxrz on controller. This is about to be disgusting in this round. And I gotta say, advantage Ghost Gaming after gaining control of the care package, gaining a weapon advantage now over their opponents. Yeah, good luck with your longbow and Mozambique, bowswer, in a close range fight as this ring starts to collapse.
There's going to have to be big headshots coming in here from bowswer. Yep. He needs to try and get a huge amount of damage done before the push comes in, and he might have the opportunity to do so as Ghost Gaming will be forced into the line of sight of the longbow. Managed to hit one, narrowly missed the second. Pandxrz down on this low ground as well. Might be able to beam, and yes, he is going to be able to. 112. That'll be cleaned up as well. Pandxrz now moving in with the Peacekeeper, and that was the difference. The beams from the Havoc, the care package weapon, giving them that advantage as Renegades were forced down onto the low ground. And it's something we saw yesterday as well. Care package weapons can change things, especially in those early rounds like we've just seen.
Yeah, that's right. Great plays coming through, and it's a great thing, Mark. We switched our prediction to Ghost Gaming because honestly, they're looking really. No, I'm just kidding. That's the last time we'll beat that dead horse. Ghost Gaming, though, looking good in round number one. That was all Pandxrz all day with the Havoc and the beams, like you said, melting their opponents and giving them such an advantage to kick off that fight. When you get 120 of laser damage that quickly with an energy gun, you know it's going to be a good end game for you. Nice shot from Ghost Gaming here. Meanwhile, this time we'll see both teams, I believe, play for the artillery side of the map. This should be very, very interesting. Of course, the supply crate or care package is going to be dropping here momentarily. We'll see a interesting fight off the rip as Pandxrz is getting himself smashed.
Yeah, it looks like Renegades want to get a little bit more aggressive here. Ghost Gaming trying to hold them off when the shots coming in from the G7 Scout are going to be doing that as well. Can he get the knock though? No, it's only shield damage at the moment, and that's not going to be converted. But look at the damage coming in now, and there is that knock. bowswer will go down. Pandxrz and Metro combining, focusing in, and that is so vital. And now the G7 doing all sorts of work onto Sauceror, and there's the Mozam as well. That's the answer you want after losing the first round. Ghost Gaming, they bounce back.
What a showing right there from Ghost Gaming. It started with the team firing. Brilliant plays from Pandxrz. Again, Spider-Man himself getting on top of that dome, on top of high ground, and the team firing. And of course, Metro with the G7 Scout putting in absolute work. This is the team firing that we saw earlier. It looked like a game of Halo right there as they're able to get a knock so quickly on bowswer and then continues to melt with the G7 right after. A brilliant round, the Mozambique style play finish. What a round right there for Ghost.
Amazing round for them, and now they're 2-0 up, and they are 1 round away from winning this game 5. Renegades struggling, and Renegades need to find a way to make things work because at the moment, things aren't working. It's as simple as that, and Kenny now going to be flying in, and it looks like Renegades want to try and get aggressive, want to try and mix things up, and want to try and at least get some sort of momentum on the board and isolate one player on the outside of this bubble.
Wow, what a round this is here. Sauceror down to no shield's going to heal back up and reset. Nice shot from Xset to slow things down at least a little bit here. And I wonder, is this the style of play that Xset wants? Obviously, the circle's pulling this way, so they have to at least somewhat show some presence on this side of the map. But Ghost Gaming is so favored in these type of fights. It seems like their team firing, their gunplay seems to be just a little bit better than Renegades, and that's been the case really this entire match.
I just wonder if it's going to be first knock or if it's going to be care package that has a big influence on this as well. Pandxrz playing up on this spherical object. No idea what it is. I'm not going to even try and guess, but it's certainly making himself known on the map as a place for him to try and play around and make sure that he's not going to be exposed as he's trying to fire across the map. And Ghost Gaming now trying to push up. Renegades all kind of caught up in the bottom of this bunker at the moment here, John. Don't have the greatest spacing across the map.
Yeah, very interesting. And Mark, we can call it a cannonball. Looks like a cannonball.
I'm good with that, yeah.
Yeah, you put that into a giant cannon, futuristic Apex Legends cannon, and it fires across the world. That's exactly it. On board with Kenny now of Xset, substituting for this Renegade squad for PowPow, who couldn't make it today. We'll see what Kenny can continue to do here, as obviously it started slow for Renegades. If you're just tuning in, they went down 2-0 against Ghost, dominated the last two maps, Garden and, of course, Thermal Station, to force a game number 5. But since then, it's been all Ghost Gaming all day. Standoff here, stalemate here. Pandxrz with the flank again. Going to maybe open things up for his team.
Yeah, that angle is absolutely disgusting, and he is firing through any kind of space that he can find, any nook and any cranny. He will take advantage of the 301 hitting hard, but not hard enough to get the initial knock once more. Panda's now going to be giving away his position, and bowswer is going to be exchanging fire here for Renegades.
That's right. Panda's back to his climbing ways. And another angle. Pandxrz is doing everything to set his team up for an opportunity here to push. Will they capitalize? And it looks like all members of Renegades right now are like chickens in a chicken coop, as they are literally just posting up within their back warehouse and stuck in a corner. This has to be a Ghost Gaming round, you think, right, Mark?
Yeah, you think, right? I mean, they're stuck, they're pinched, they're going to be forced out of a very small area as well. At this front door, you get the feeling that bowser's going to have to throw a bubble down here, and it might come down to a bubble fight if they manage to survive. But if I'm Ghost Gaming right now, and Pandxrz makes the call that I've done more than 60, 70 damage, I think you push. You have a 2-0 lead, and you can take advantage. Now is where they should go, but it looks like Ghost Gaming have decided to back up as Metro took some damage himself.
Yeah, nice job from 6. A little bait and switch here. Brilliant plays from Ghost. Pandxrz actually going to back on a dodge. Bait and switch. 6, your turn, buddy. He pushes up, gets a first knock, and just like that, to 3v2. Ghost Gaming playing this perfect.
Oh, shots coming in from the G7 scout as well. That's going to be Kenny taken down, and now it's just a 3v1. It's a matter of finishing things off. They go in, they get the job done. Ghost Gaming will close out game 5 in the most dominant fashion you could possibly ask for.
3-0 clean sweep. What a finish from Ghost. They wake up, they say, all right, boys, we're done playing. Let's close this one out right here. And the way that they did it, that last round, I can't wait for that replay package, Mark, because Pandxrz, so smart to take his flanks. He's been one of the smartest players so far in the tournament that I've seen in terms of angles, positioning, opening up opportunities for his teams, gets great angles, opens up the door, and then immediately when he recognizes, hey, they're trying to focus and collapse on me, gets out of dodge with the Pathfinder grapple. Brilliant plays from Pandxrz.
Yeah, Pandxrz was, to me, the MVP, without question, throughout the series. And you could even highlight him on Overflow. There was a lot of opportunities for him to get the off angles. He was successful in doing so. He did a great job also battling against Octane's jump pad, too. There was, I think, specifically the last round, there was a really good initiation from Renegades. They take the jump pad. They try to get on Pill, but who's there to stop them? Of course, Pandxrz, right? And Pandxrz shut them down. Ultimately, that Overflow map goes to them. But you got to give it the Renegades on sets. I mean, the fact that they do, in fact, come in with Kenny from XSET, granted an incredible player in his own right, but you're losing the slaying power, the star power that PowPow brought with his Pathfinder yesterday, and obviously playing with the new edition is always difficult, but Renegades made the most of it. This was a great series for them.
Yeah, it did great to get back into the series. Unfortunately, that final map artillery just it was all Ghost Gaming. There really didn't feel like any point in the round where I was like, hey, Renegades have got this. Renegades have got an advantage. Right. It was always that they were kind of either hold up in a certain area. They didn't have the spread across the map. They didn't have any lines of sight onto Ghost Gaming, and it was always Ghost Gaming who kind of were running the pace of the round, right? They had control. They knew what they wanted to do, and they made their moves off of it. So it's tough for Renegades. A great comeback, fantastic comeback, but that will be them eliminated from the tournament. And I would say it's the surprise of the day because of the fact that it's obviously is the surprise of the day because it's the first game we've had. But going from yesterday's performance as well, but then they had the substitute. So it's kind of that little caveat, right? That it's not the lineup we saw yesterday. However, Ghost Gaming, they got the job done and they looked incredibly strong again.
Yeah, I take nothing away from Renegades, with this loss. I mean, again, the fact that they sent it to Game 5, started off with the 2-0, almost had a reverse sweep is truly impressive. But Fallout, artillery, that was probably the most dominant artillery map that I have seen from a team yet.
Yeah, absolute facts. It doesn't matter where on Renegades played on the map, Ghost Gaming shut them down. They played a perfect game across the board, really well played for them. And one thing that's really interesting is, we've seen ESA Black, now known as Ghost Gaming, perform very well in ALGS, but we've never really got to see these individual players on display to really appreciate their brilliance in gameplay. And now I think, honestly, for the first time, I've seen the beast that is Pandxrz, and that gets me so excited. So I just wanted to make that point. Arenas gets to bring out the mechanical prowess of these players and really tell stories that I don't think a BR can, traditional ALGS gameplay can do. It's been really awesome to see Ghost Gaming and how good they truly are as individuals and as a team.
Yeah, Pandxrz is incredible. He does it all, right? He gets those off angles. He applies the pressure. Artillery was a great example of that, keeping the players, pinned up. Great little head glitch that he had. And also, too, even off of round one, established himself with the Havoc, right? Which was instrumental in the victory. Finds an opportunity to get on the supply drop. He takes it. It's pretty much uncontested, and obviously a major reason as to why they take that victory. So Pandxrz is definitely a pathfinder that teams need to take seriously and have a direct counter for. You take him down, you're going to be hurting Ghost Gaming as a whole. Let's take a look at our bracket, though, and see how things are shaping up. Our first two series are done in round one. One that happened off stream was My Little Phony against Charlotte Phoenix. My Little Phony ends up taking it 3-1. And, that's a talented team, but now they got to go against a talented roster of Ghost Gaming on set.
I mean, every game is going to be fun today. And that's another one. My Little Phony, a great squad. Ghost Gaming, a great squad. And again, I'm going to be boring with predictions today. I mean, I've already got one right today, kind of, maybe. But I mean, game 5 is going to be a theme of the day. Okay, give me that one. I'm 100% right. Game 5 is going to be the theme of the day for me. I think that it will be a surprise to me to see at this point any team take a 3-0 over another. It's just that tight. And especially in arenas as well. Not a huge amount of pro play between the teams. I think it's just going to be a case of, who's playing better on that map. It's as simple as that.